The Ulster Museum, located in the Botanic Gardens in Belfast, has around 8,000 square metres of public display space, featuring material from the collections of fine art and applied art, archaeology, ethnography, treasures from the Spanish Armada, local history, numismatics, industrial archaeology, botany, zoology and geology. It is the largest museum in Northern Ireland, and one of the components of National Museums Northern Ireland. The Ulster Museum was closed for nearly 3 years while it was under renovation. It reopened to the public on the 22nd of October 2009, on its 80th anniversary. The renovation work was supported by the National Lottery and the Northern Ireland Executive's Department of Culture, Arts and Leisure. History. The Ulster Museum was founded as the Belfast Natural History Society in 1821 and began exhibiting in 1833. It has included an art gallery since 1890. Originally called the Belfast Municipal Museum and Art Gallery, in 1929, it moved to its present location in Strandmillis. The new building was designed by James Cumming Wynne in 1962, courtesy of the Museum Act 1961. It was renamed as the Ulster Museum and was formally recognised as a national museum. A major extension constructed by McLaughlin and Amp Harvey Limited to designs by Francis Pym, who won the 1964 competition, was opened in 1972 and Pym's only completed work. It was published in several magazines and was until alteration the most important example of brutalism in Northern Ireland. It was praised by David Evans for the almost barbaric power of its great cubic projections and cantilevers brooding over the conifers of the Botanic Gardens like a mastodon. Since the 1940s, the Ulster Museum has built up a very good collection of art by modern Irish, and particularly Ulster-based artists. In 1998, the Ulster Museum, which includes Armagh County Museum, merged with the Ulster Folk and Transport Museum and the Ulster American Folk Park to form the National Museums and Galleries of Northern Ireland. In July 2005, a £17 million refurbishment of the museum was announced, with grants from the Heritage Lottery Fund and the Department of Culture, Arts and Leisure. In October 2006, the museum closed its doors until 2009 to allow for the work, illustrations of historic interest of interiors before alterations will be found as Nos 183 and 237 in Larmore, p. 1987. The redevelopment drew criticism from many significant figures in the architectural community and the 20th century society, especially for changes to the brutalist character and dismantling of the spiral sequence of rooms in the Pym extension. The museum reopened in October 2009, 80 years to the day since its original opening. Within a month, over 100,000 people had visited the museum. The reopening saw the introduction of Monday closure, which has received criticism from the public and in the press. All NMNI sites are to close on Mondays. This decision is being reviewed by DCAL. Exhibits. The Ulster Museum contains important collections of Irish birds, mammals, insects, mollusks, marine invertebrates, flowering plants, algae and lichens, as well as an archive of books and manuscripts relating to Irish natural history. The museum also maintains a natural history website named Habitas. In the late 1980s and the early 1990s, it had a permanent exhibition on dinosaurs which has since been scaled back considerably. There is also a collection of rocks, minerals and fossils. Zoology. List of zoological collections. Historic. Joseph Whittaker, early 20th century, mounted birds from Sicily. William Thompson, mid-19th century, author of Natural History of Ireland. Mollusca, birds, algae. Robert Templeton, mid-19th century, insects from Ceylon. George Crawford Hindman Mollusca and Indian birds. William Monad Crawford Early 20th century butterflies from Burma. Canon William Frederick Johnson Early 20th century Coleoptera. Charles Langham Early 20th century Irish insects European butterflies. H. M. Peebles Himalayan snow butterflies. Robert Welch Early 20th century Mollusca. Herbert T. Malcolmson Early 20th century James Shields bird mounts. Thomas Workman Late 19th century Lepidoptera. Recent Paul Wilcox butterflies of Malaya. Paul Smart tropical butterflies. Raymond Haynes Irish butterflies moths. James P. Brockett Numenidae. Shell collections, nudibranchs and sea sponges. J. R. Stoffel types of Agrias butterflies. Important individual specimens. Holotype of the emperor penguin collected by Captain Crozier of Banbridge. Champion patricovifold Irish wolfhound. Dwarf elephant skeletons from Sicily. The Egyptian mummified body of Tecabuti. Mummy case of Tiesmuthpere. Slender-billed curlew. Rothschilds, Queen Alexandra's and other bird-wing butterflies. Giant clam, given to the Belfast Natural History Society by Francis Walker. Lammergeier mount by James Shields. Gervais's beaked whale. Japanese spider crab. Bonaparte skull collected by William Thompson, the first European specimen. Giant squid model. Thylacine. Coelacanth. Bald eagle juvenile from near Garrison, County Fermanagh on the 11th of January 1973. First European record. Passenger pigeon. Irish elk. Yellow-billed cuckoo. Conus gloriamaris. Wildlife art. The zoology department also maintains collections of wildlife art. Works by Peter Scott, Joseph Wolfe, Eric Ennion, John Gerard Keulemans, Roger Torrey Peterson, Charles Tunnicliffe, Robert Gilmore and Archibald Thorburn are included. Illustrated works held by the zoology department include British entomology, being illustrations and descriptions of the genera of insects found in Great Britain and Ireland, a classic work of entomology by John Curtis and Niccolo Gualtieri's Index Testrum Concliorum, quae ad servanta in Museo Nicolai Gualtieri 1742. Botany. The herbarium. The herbarium in the Ulster Museum is based on specimens from Belfast Natural History and Philosophical Society, the Belfast Naturalists Field Club, the Belfast Museum and Art Gallery and the herbarium of the Botany Department of the Queen's University, Belfast, acquired in 1968. In total, the number of specimens is more than 100,000. Although specimens from Northern Ireland are well represented, specimens from elsewhere in the world have been acquired by donation, exchange and purchase. All branches of the world's flora are represented: algae, lichens, fungi, mosses and pteridophytes, conifers and angiosperms. Little information about the Irish flora before 1830 is available. The oldest specimen in the Ulster Museum is an alga, Batrachospermum moniliforme, collected in 1798 by John Templeton. Other specimens of Batrachospermum, originally incorrectly identified as Thoria ramissima, were collected by John Templeton in 1815 from A. Boghall in Co. Donegal. It was originally published by Harvey in 1841. List of some of the collectors: S. A. Bennett, Corrie Denu Chase. His herbarium of about 4,000 sheets was passed to Methodist College Belfast, who passed it to the Ulster Museum in 1970. John C. Assis, Thomas Hughes Correll, A. Fenton, M. Fosley, Paul Hackney, William Henry Harvey, George Crawford Hindman, Frederick Hugh Woodhams Kerr, Mary Patriaria Happer Kirtland, William McCalla, Osborne Morton, Robert Lloyd Prager, Arthur Wilson Stelfox, Samuel Alexander Stewart, John Templeton, William Thompson, Sylvanus Ware, Coslet Herbert Waddell. 1960s art. The collection contains works by Jean Dubuffet, Morris Lewis, Anthony Caro, Carol Apple, Francis Bacon, Joseph Boyce, Eduardo Palozzi, Jean Robert Ipostaghi. Past art exhibitions. Scultura Italiana 1964, Henry Lawrence, 16 July 30 August 1971. Ethnographic collections. Chola art, bronze statues from the Chola dynasty, samurai armor, Solomon Islands war canoe. Girona. The museum acquired Armada artifacts from the Galleass Girona in 1971. Controversy at the 132nd Royal Ulster Academy exhibition. In 2013 at the 132nd Royal Ulster Academy exhibition at the Ulster Museum, the Kiss by artist Paul Walls was not displayed following discussions between the museum and the Academy. It was decided as the subject matter, two women kissing, was inappropriate for school visits. A petition was organized on Change.org. Rail access. Botanic is the nearest station on Northern Ireland Railways. Regular trains ply between Belfast Great Victoria Street, City Hospital, Botanic and Belfast Central. Bibliography. Hackney, p. 1972. Notes on the vascular plant herbarium of the Ulster Museum. IR. Nat. J. 17-230-233. Hackney, p. 1980. Some early 19th century herbaria in Belfast. 20-114 119. Hackney, p. 1981. British Vascular Plant Collection of the Ulster Museum. Biology Curators Group 2-23. Nesbitt N. 1979. A Museum in Belfast. Ulster Museum. Macmillan N. F. and Morton O. 1979. A Victorian album of algae from the north of Ireland with specimens collected by William Sawyers. IR. Nat. J. 19-384-387. Morton O. 1977a. A note on W. H. Harvey's algae in the Ulster Museum. IR. Nat. J. 1826. Morton O. 1977b. Sylvanus Weir's algal collection in the Ulster Museum. IR. Nat. J. 19-9293. Morton O. 1980. 3 algal collections in the Ulster Museum Herbarium. IR. Nat. J. 2033-37. Morton O. 1981a. Algae in Biology Curators Group Newsletter 3/12/13. Morton O. 1981b. American algae collected by W. H. Harvey and others in the Ulster Museum Herbarium. Taxon 30-867-868. Morton O. 1994. Marine algae of Northern Ireland. Ulster Museum, Belfast. ISBN 0-900761-288. Prager, R. L. 1949. Some Irish Naturalist.